seems at the moment that things have been traded, but we're not going to see the Sivir ban as Game Talents look at that Sivir as the first pick. And the
pick right there.
Blade Surge can get out of the way of a lot of these barrels and then jump straight back on top of you.
Yeah.
See whether Flandre can make that one happen, because Snake have changed things up. Apart from that bottom lane, it's very different from game number 2. And still a lot of late game insurance being offered, especially by Tank on this Azir. We're going to be looking at him to get that work done. But Game Talents, this is the same thing.
Yep.
We'll switch out the Graves for the Rek'Sai, but remember Wushong did fantastically well on the Graves in game number 1. See whether he has a follow-up performance here in game number 3.
Yeah, and I think all eyes are going to be on Tank here. Let's see if he can get it going.
Yeah, damn right. Coaches shake hands. Let's get into game number 3 and our final match of the evening. Well, thank you very much, PentaQ, and all eyes are going to be on you, good sir, as the Sivir is the pick of the evening.
Ah, yes. The day of Sivir.
Yeah, well, Snake have to win a game against the tide of the entire night.
Pretty much. That's already a little bit too much in terms of expectations.
Yeah, I think so.
They've been playing a lot differently in terms of how they play out their early mid-game. They usually kind of take it to you, use their pressure, invade, kind of look to punish you. But Game Talents, they're a team that changes how you play against them. They play that disengage style, they play that zoning style, and if you ever look to fight them, if you ever look to engage and bite off too much and you can chew, then of course they'll look to re-engage and take the fight right back.
Yeah, I actually really like it as well because they're very good at sort of splintering and then coming back together when they know you're weak as well.
Yeah.
Able to identify overcommitment very effectively, and was what they utilized very well in game number 2.
Interesting first pick from Gangplank going Mana Crystal. Usually you see that in the mid lane matchups because you just want to look to continue your harass. It helps you out a little bit. Of course, it builds straight into the Trinity Force. But against Aurelia, who, yeah, sure, her early game, like before she gets her Trinity, or even just a Sheen, she doesn't really give you much. Doesn't really aggress much in the lane. But it's still a bit risky, I think.
Well, we'll see whether Flandre can capitalize on it. He's now down towards the bottom side earlier on. Takes that Blade Surge first. Will mean that Gimgoon misses out on one of these creeps at least.
Yeah, I feel like Snake called out that lane swap. Gimgoon definitely thought he was going in for a blind lane swap in their favor. Didn't work out that way. He had to go back to his lane and missed out in that wave. So he's already kind of losing out on pressure. 7-1 in CS. So he's going to have to let that push come through.
Well, still, a bunch of that wave still remains. It's Martin. It's the slowdown onto PentaQ. There's the headbutt. There's JZ. It's got that level 2. Martin going down relatively low. JZ answering damage here as well, but good pressure from Snake's bottom lane here in these standard lanes.
Yeah, I'm surprised it worked that well. Trading Alice, like having it in an Alistair lane, trading into Braum is usually really tricky. If you ever get stunned up, that's just bad news bears.
Yeah, problematic. However, SOFM grabs himself the Rift Scuttler, then heads towards his red buff. Of course, Blue skipped, as he does like to do.
Yeah.
Possibly give that one over to Tank as well.
It speeds up his pathing. It's a really good tool. I like that from Rek'Sai is when they recognize that they don't need the buff. Experience in the next camp gives you just as much. And of course, you can look to prioritize the Scuttle Crabs and help out your lanes.
Well, now Flandre aggressed on here towards the bottom side of the map. Equilibrium Strike is available, but there's the flash from Wushong. Gets himself in there. End of the line comes down, and red buff still ticking. The flash comes in from Gimgoon. Gets the first blood. SOFM was almost there, but not there in time.
Yeah, so that was a little bit See, because Aurelia had a great lead in that matchup because the level 1, it worked out for him, and the fact that Wushuang, great on Wushuang to get that gank off, that helped out Gangplank. He was already in some peril there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Flandre needed to, basically, he needed to recognize that that was a possibility.
Well, you can see now Republic coming over just to help Wushuang out. Just to be able to lock down this Raptor camp as SOFM gets in there. There's the exhaust on Republic as Gravity Field's in, but SOFM just skirts around the side. The Ghost is on, and I believe he will be able to get out of the way. You can see the bottom lane is moving over as SOFM wants to find it. Flash used. That is a big deal. As Savoki actually taking damage. Headbutt Pulp comes in. Unbreakable comes up, but maybe a little bit too late as he's down to about 400 health.
Great call from the GAMT bottom lane, pretty much to tell him, don't come this way. We don't have the fast track here. You just die to our bottom lane.
Oh, Flandre gets the 1v1.
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. The level 1 really messed him up, but of course he did get ganked, but he TP'd immediately back and put on that pressure.
Well, there's another flash knock-up as the headbutt brings Savoki back in. Good flash after the stand behind me, but it's not enough. Snake get themselves their second kill and claim back the gold lead.
Snake side laners are coming right back and showing that they're the stronger players.
This is what we always talk about. Snake, fantastic when it's not a lane swap.
You give them the standard lanes and they'll show you their strength.
Not something we're normally used to talking about, but has been the case over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and Flandre, honestly, he's a great solo laner. He really is. You give him this matchup and he's going to be able to deliver. The early laning swap really messed up Gimgoon. Gimgoon is a great laner just as well, but unfortunately he thought he was going into a lane swap, so he came into a bad matchup late and he's getting punished for it.
Yeah. Also, Gangplank, not necessarily known for his early power as well, as Flandre almost has his Phage built up. Wushuang is going to turn up here. Flandre not going to be able to finish off that pink ward. Thunderlord's proc, but end of the line. Hits the end of the line. Not going to be able to get there as there's the delivery. Republic thrown back into SOFM. Gravity Field's there. Does get the stun, but SOFM looking for the Prey Seeker. Wants to deliver the kill to Tank if he can, but there's the Prey Seeker. Locks it down.
Really great look from Tank. I actually didn't think he would hit it, right? Because
that's the normal Tank way, is to miss it.
I was questioning it a little bit, but he gets the kill, and it's just looking really good for Snakes. All of their lanes, honestly.
Yeah.
Flandre should be happy. He's pulling in Wushuang to his lane. You know, top laners usually be like, man, this jungler's camping me. Help. But that's incredible. He's able to put in that much pressure while still taking over the matchup. And so that's giving SOFM the freedom to pretty much impact mid and top.
Yeah,
with
get wherever
impunity.
we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. So, PentaQ, they're just going to answer this with a lane swap. Gimgoon sets up the barrel. Not going to be able to use it, because PentaQ has a ricochet. That's one auto attack on the turret.
Yeah, and so now they're getting themselves in the proper position. It's a smart play from Game Talents, putting themselves in that lane swap. But it doesn't, I mean, it helps out the Sivir, but it's also good for Ashe. You know, you give her that freedom in terms of being able to leave her lane, and it's a little bit more pressure for Republic.
Well, Cannon Barrage once again going to be utilized from Gimgoon. Gets rid of that creep wave. Does mean that Snake aren't going to be able to keep up this push. That tempo advantage that ultimate offers seems to be so important for Game Talents.
Yeah, and not to mention Gangplank was in the lane helping out his... they had 3 people on that turret. Meanwhile, Aurelia's just getting there, so they're pretty slow on the rotation. They're still going to be... They should be able to get it on this wave, but they definitely need Ashe's help.
And it means another dragon goes first up here to Game Talents. Seems like every single game they're able to just get the priority on this objective. Mountain Drake also very important if they want to sort of snowball this one through.
Yeah.
Blue buff sent over to Tank as well as they steal that one away, but not sure whether that's going to be enough. And Snake, once again, make a little bit of a fumble as far as strategic maneuvers are concerned.
That's why this matchup is really interesting. Game Talents versus Snake, both teams have the opposite mindset in the sense that Snake have great players. They look to bully you in a lot of ways where they're saying, hey, you know, this is your weakness. We're going to look to
exploit it.
Yeah, exactly. But Game Talent says, okay, we're fine with that. We're actually going to embrace our weaknesses and say that, okay, we'll go for the lane swap. we'll go for that dragon that you forgot about entirely, and we'll trade on you until a point where you start to mess up, and we'll take advantage of it. Game Talents are the team with the Sivir. They can go as far as they want.
Yeah, onus is on Snake to try and win it early.
Yeah, they need to start utilizing their early game pressure. Now they have Azir, that's fine, but we'll have to see. It's really all on Tank. Tank has to be the player right now who, he has an early lead in his lane. He's pressuring his lane properly, and so Snake's going to be able to utilize it, hopefully, to take the jungle creeps. But much as the game goes on, he needs to threaten PentaQ. PentaQ should never feel safe in walking up in these fights. And on top of that, Azir is a great pick into Gangplank, because if he ever gets those barrels down, you can just pretty much W, Q, and auto that barrel down.
Oh, this is going to be the push through for Snake, so good move. So they will be able to get a lot of damage. Oh, Cannon Barrage, take it all back.
Oh, that dastardly Gangplank.
Never you mind.
You think you're smart, and then you realize he's just utilizing his ulti to just...
And he's now only 10 CS behind. He's actually got the lead as far as items are concerned, because he's a bit busted with that parlay, giving him the extra money.
That's true. That is the case. And of course, he's able to just get waves on waves. He's using his ulti for that wave. So,
yeah.
Great for him. He's able to find his way back into this game a little bit. Oh, looks like Ashe is looking for it.
Yeah, well, Republic going to get exhausted as Tank gets his way over the top. Nice flash, but the arrow chases him down and nails it. Martin, the first one he throws is going to be the money shot. I really like it as Snake look to pressure the mid lane.
You don't need those Malzahar picks to get you the ulti. You just need some skill.
Yeah.
So that was really solid from them. They're really getting the picks that they need, and this should be tower for them.
Yeah, so tower falls down, and Snake will solidify themselves a possible 2.5 thousand gold lead if they do manage to lock this one down. Jay-Z getting in there. There's the flash engage, but Jay-Z wasn't on the same page with SOFM. Does get the heal from Martin. Jay-Z, concussive blows, one more auto attack, but they don't get there. Dodges the Winter's Bite. They take the turret.
Thankfully, that resulted in a turret, so that was a positive trade. Now, they do have to defend this mid turret, but man, that was a classic case of miscommunication where SOFM sees an opportunity to look to engage.
Yeah.
Jay-Z is like, I don't know about that. Oh, actually, you're going for it then. You know, so just not on the same page for the both of them.
Yeah, not enough. 30 CS lead here for Tank as well. This guy's done a heck of a lot of work. Of course, a lot of attention given to Republic, but good on Tank to capitalize on it and keep moving throughout this lane.
But for this game, this is a really strong look for Wushuang. Wushuang has been playing really well to patch up his team's weaknesses so far. Helps out Gangplank in his lane, comes in mid, notices that they might even lose a mid tower. He comes in to just wave clear, W, Q, ulti, like collateral damage, doing such a good job in terms of keeping them back. So it's nice for them. It's nice for him specifically. He's showing quite a bit off this game. His Graves play.
I like this from SOFM, timing that red buff. Steals that one away as Savoki and Republic are going to make their way over. As SOFM steals it, tunnels his way out, and just he can do that with the mobility of his Rek'Sai.
That's true. Rek'Sai right now, he's going for the Tiamat build, of course. Going to be a threat much later on in the game. They have a lot of wave clear, so that means that they can, if they want, go into a 1-3-1 with Aurelia and Rek'Sai threatening. This all depends on how far ahead SOFM gets.
At the moment, he's actually behind 8 jungle camps as Wushuang has been farming like a beast. Remember, a lot of these are lane creeps, I guess, so not necessarily worth as much as what SOFM has been able to pick up as Tank resets his blue buff, which is unfortunate.
I'd like to think he's even. Graves right now, probably, yeah, he has 10 CS in the lead, but Rek'Sai has a kill, 2 assists to his name, so that's a positive point. Oh, okay.
Flandre. Oh, it doesn't take down that one, but the arrow's flying through. Gimgoon is going to... No, Wushuang's going to tank it up. Flandre, very, very low, has to flash. Was looking for that blade surge. Doesn't get in there. SOFM now just getting straight on top of Wushuang and picks him up. That Tiamat doing work with the reset. Even lands that Pre-Seeker as Snake not taking their feet off the pedal.
Exactly. They're going to get this blue buff. They're going to re-pressure that top lane because the wave is coming. They need to look to defend it. Don't let Gangplank pressure. So right now they're trying to push Gangplank off the tower. Gangplank can just look to clear constantly, but if you don't give him the opportunity, look to maybe trade some damage, zone him with Alistair, then you can get it. So they're playing all right. They're actually putting a lot of pressure in these lanes. Chip damage coming on these turrets based off the plays that Snake is making.
Yeah, 3,000 gold now, approximately the lead here for Snake as the Dragon is going to be up. That's another Mountain Drake. You can see Martin's moving down there. Snake actually going to get a Dragon?
I've been waiting for this all my life.
I know. This is a big deal moment. His Pentacue is extraordinarily low. May actually have to go back to base as Martin sees some creeps moving up the lane. And SOFM, he's done it. He found the Dragon Pit. And Wushang has to use his dash over, but Tank is just going to deliver him to Martin and even picks up the kill for himself. Nicely done. Jungler dead. Dragon for free for Snake.
Incredibly done. But you got to remember, Snake is a team that they do get these early advantages, but they need to start to convert it.
Yeah, but they don't get dragons, Raz.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe this is going to be what brings it all back.
This is a learning experience for Snake. On a serious note, it really is, because they do have a bit of time left till playoffs, and they're a team that, as I mentioned earlier, are a little bit, I don't want to say greedy, but they're definitely, they do, as I said, they cut corners.
Yeah, they're not necessarily calculating. They
Yeah.
don't necessarily understand what they can accomplish with with a lot of what they get.
Yeah, and they're definitely learning that from game talents that calculate a lot, but but of course in game talents issue, they calculate too much. Sometimes you just gotta press the enter button, get in there.
Yeah.
So both teams opposite issues. One goes a little too hard, while the other one takes a step back when they should be taking 2 steps forward.
Yeah. Well, now Martin, looking to try and clear out this top wave, has decided to go for an interesting collection of items with that Zeal instead of a BF sword next up. Essence Reaver going to be a little bit late for the Ashe.
His builds lately have been a little bit interesting.
Super weird, man.
Yeah.
Real weird.
For Ashe, specifically, he...
And the Sivir with the Renons.
Exactly. It's a little interesting. He's prioritizing just the... Well, specifically for the boots, he rushes the boots on Ashe, and that's alright because he's prioritizing just the mobility, looking for the picks to help out his team. He recognizes that he's going to be just kind of allowing the rest of his team to do the work in terms of just the damage. That's smart from him. Not so smart for the other builds. I definitely don't agree with.
Yeah, some odd stuff there as the inner turret now under fire. Arrow lands onto Republic, and Tank just kills him with the ultimate. Cannon Barrage, a little bit mispositioned there as SOFM possibly in trouble as Flandre is going to come round. SOFM dodges out of the way of the Glacial Fissure and then flashes himself to safety. Nicely played. In fact, that's probably the only way he was staying alive there.
Snake is definitely upset. They're upset that they had to go to Game 3, and now they're really showing game talents the difference between the both of them.
Yeah. This is the angry Snake.
You don't want an angry Snake.
Yeah. You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
So they're just... Oh, this is beautiful. They're just chipping down both towers. This one's going to go down, definitely. And now they're just going to be bouncing between both towers right now. They can shove out this wave, maybe peel back for the Rift Herald that's still up. That would be a great addition to Flandre.
Oh, yeah. Aid in that split push, which is already pretty god tier in. Has that Trinity Force completed in answer of Gimgoons. Ninja Tabi there done as well. And has finished the cull.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go for it. Just 2-man.
Should be able to as well, as you can see, a little bit late on the rotation at GT.
Yeah, they should watch out, though. A lot of the times they do go for these solo plays while the rest of their team is backing, and that it does create an opening that they should recognize, right?
Yeah.
Because if they get chunked, well, they're not really getting chunked, but if they get collapsed on while doing this with 2 people, then it feels like they don't learn, they just haven't learned their lesson.
Now Martin answers the push that Pentacue sent towards the top side of the map. Renan's Hurricane rushed. I like it. It's not a rapid-fire cannon. It's pretty standard. Of course, often you see BF sword into the Renans, but wants to make sure that he's got the CDR. A few more arrows potentially come out. And he's been landing them this game. That has been the difference between Martin's Ashe Game 1 versus Game 2.
Yep. He's hitting the arrows, definitely helping it out.
Yeah.
And his team is setting it up too. That's something that we don't look towards. And he's going to take the blue buff, definitely, because he doesn't want to get stolen. So, but yeah, the difference between game 1, game 2 is also just the fact that Snake is actually doing their best to give Martin the easiest ulti possible.
Yeah, and they're just capitalizing much better on advantages and positioning that they have, as that was a lot of poke damage.
Yeah, and something that I didn't mention earlier on in this game, Victor has Ghost this game, Ghost Flash. Also a difference from the last game, because last game he had Cleanse.
Yeah, he had the Cleanse.
And he executed the Cleanse so well last game.
It was honestly why the Ash pick was largely redundant throughout a lot of the game.
Yeah, it fell through because every single time he would get picked off by Ash, he gets arrowed. He would insta cleanse, peel back, and Snake would not be able to take that fight. But now he's confident that he can deal with it, and it's been hitting him. It's been hitting him hard.
Gimgoon was setting up for the Krugs. Flandre goes back, picks up the wave. The trap was set, but not sprung. Now has himself a Giant's Belt, so Flandre looking good. Getting tankier. And Essence Reaver almost done for Martin as Transcendent Blades shoves this wave towards the turret. Flandre just resetting one more time.
And Gimgoon has to hide. Like, every time Aurelia shows herself, he can't be seen because Aurelia right now has the Trinity Force and has that Rift Herald buff on her. Just 1 second, and yeah, 1 second of time, and Gimgoon is not going to be feeling too good. Could just get 1v1. So he needs to he's just going to be sitting under his tower.
Well, Essence Reaver almost completed by Martin. Pentacue almost done with his Phantom Dancer as well, so 2 items coming in for these AD carries.
And Martin doesn't have to even worry about doing damage. He has SOFM and Flandre, basically just the mega bruisers of this team.
Well, on the hunt, comes down. SOFM tunnels his way out. You can see JZ trampling his way as quickly as possible. Teleport. Didn't actually come in from anyone. Thought I heard it. Didn't. Losing my mind at the end of the night.
No worries about that one. It's a long day.
Mm.
And long games. But yeah, it looks like Snake has been just trying to take a different step, right? They've been trying to just accelerate the game as fast as possible, looking for that quick Baron take, and on top of that have been looking to dive constantly.
Oh, Wushang caught out of position. He's been such a big player for this team as Tank just follows his Sand Soldier over the top. GT, Savoki has the Unbreakable, but it still will get stunned. Brilliant knock-up. Stops him from getting away from that one. Martin locks down the kill with a nice flash Q. And Snake now move towards the Baron pit. 2 picks for free. Gimgoon will be getting some work done here in the mid lane, but we'll see whether Snake just ignore him. Goes straight for the big purple worm.
Yeah, just ignore him. Get that Baron. This is a different kind of Snake. This is the Snake that we know very well.
Yeah.
So they're just pressing the game, putting it on their terms. There is no way that game talents are going to be... Like, this is the same game talents we've seen from the first game, second game, and Snake is tired of it. They don't want game talents setting any form of pace. Get that Alistair. Get that Ashe.
Oh, Flandre. He was hunting for a Gimgoon.
They solidified these hard engage picks, and so whenever they get the opportunity, they're not going to miss out on that chance of just getting the pick that is given to them.
I swear Flandre uses Blade Surge more than any other top laner. Just FYI. The Snake now take themselves a free Cloud Tree. Wow, they've got a taste of these dragons. They're getting straight back in there. Another Mountain Drake comes up next.
Yeah, they're using their aggression to just pretty much pick up these dragons. They're doing a good job now, not giving away free objectives to game talents.
Well, they got to use this Baron buff in order to move things around. Flandre heads back to base, completes his Randuin's Omen, now has a non-magic mantle building towards the Spirit Visage, I would assume.
Let's see if Snake has a better time with Baron buffs than game talents. Right now they were barreling down with the mid lane. They have Tank just sitting here, so you got to believe that he's going to be using his passive. There we go. And they're going to be bringing in this big wave coming in down, so they got to worry. This tower is going to come down 100%. They can't stop it. Gimgoon, it's a fantasy.
Yeah, well, SOFM tanks up the barrel. Isn't actually too worried. Only has a little bit of armor. There's now Tank just standing sentinel underneath his turret. And they've just created enough space. The 3-1-1 working out. And Flandre, he's the one that's able to deliver them some victory.
Yeah, when you have so much a lot of diverse damage, you got Rek'Sai, you got Aurelia, we got the Azir. 131's definitely working for them.
Well, Gimgoon just demonstrates to Flandre that his barrels don't do all that much damage. Unfortunately, to these Baron up creeps.
And you got to watch out for Jay-Z. He's definitely looking for a flank. When that opportunity arises, he'll take it.
Well, now Gimgoon at least clears out the minion wave.
Oh,
Oh my god, Flandre. Steric's gauge goes off. Gimgoon answers. But Flandre gets another reset on the Blade Surge. Oh, goodness. Republic also having to fight tank, and it seems these micro battles working out so dangerously well for Snake.
every lane is working in Snake's favor. They're pushing every individual advantage, and that's been Snake's game.
All of a sudden, it's a 10,000 gold lead as well. This is huge for Snake as the inhibitor turret down below half health. Martin needs to get in there to do some damage. Cannon Barrage has been blown.
Okay.
The GT not using it for offense. This is defense this game.
Yeah, they're fine trading a Gangplank ulti for basically nothing. It's just a disengage from the. They're going to be able to heal right back up and pretty much get back on that pressure.
And once again, Flandre gets another tick of damage. It's only a Trinity Force worth of damage statistics as well, as now in goes Jay-Z. Republic gets nailed by another arrow as Gimgoon falls down 1v1 on the bottom side of the map. Chaos Storm doing a lot of damage, but the tower's dead. SOFM takes point, and Flandre, he's also going to take care of this bottom outer turret. Inhibitor is going to fall. My God, Snake just putting on so much pressure. They look transformed in game number 3 in comparison to both games 1 and 2, despite their victory in the first.
Oh,
Okay.
and he's down. But you know what? You just got to look. Flandre is looking at his coach saying, give me the Aurelia. Give me the matchup.
Yeah.
Don't give me Maokai. I want to abuse this advantage. And he does. He just tower dives and doesn't even have any mana. But guess what he does have? Flash.
Yeah. Does Flash set off? No, it doesn't.
Nah.
Don't think it counts as a Sheen ability, unfortunately. Still just did a lot of damage with that hidden style.
Yeah, and that really, the damage that ended up being the killing blow was just straight off from the Rift Herald. Rift Herald does quite a bit of damage as the game goes on. So 26 minutes in, he's able to just burst you out, in and out, do what basically pick his fights. And the matchup was bad before. If you have the Rift Herald advantage, you can just dive whenever you feel like it.
And Flandre is so used to building a Ghost Blade that he just used his Randuin's Omen to run faster out of his base, which was very cute. It's going to be back up now, and built a Guardian Angel as he went back to base from a Null Magic Mantle.
Okay.
So this is a big deal. This Aurelia is becoming a problem. There's now Gimgoon building towards what looks like a Ghost Blade after his Steric's Gauge.
And the true story here is we got 2 Randuin's Omens and a Sivir that just doesn't have enough crit. It looks like this might be the killing blow to Sivir here.
Well, also the fact that she just doesn't have her Infinity Edge built up yet. Still a lot required. I think 2.2k before that one comes in.
It's almost as if you don't let the game go on for 50 minutes, Sivir won't be that much of a factor.
And look at Tank, 4-0-1 on the Azir. He's 60 CS ahead at the same time, and he's got a death cap. Like, this guy is mammoth. We've been talking about AD carries because it has been a big theme throughout this evening, but Tank has really stepped up this game especially. Game number 1 also looked good. Looked a bit odd, honestly, on the Vladimir.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Tank has been looking fantastic as Snake looked to try and get rid of the last little bit of health this tower has. And now Jay-Z has the ultimate, but he's tanking up a little bit too much. Will fall down as now SOFM has to dodge out of the way of the Cannon Barrage. Wow!
Oh!
That damage burst that came out from, I believe, Tank? But I'm not entirely sure, as now this inhibitor looks to be taken as Snake.
Snake has to watch out.
4 versus 5, and they're still playing aggressive.
Yeah, and a lot of their execution is kind of... Oof. Oh!
Whoa,
Martin!
Wuchang flashes forward. Flandre's right in there, though. Martin picks up the kill. Gimgoon's going to fall down at the same time. GA's there, of course, for the Aurelia, and Savoki's just going to provide another reset. Snake just clean up, and Republic's the last man standing.
That's it. That's the set. That's what I'm looking for from Snake. Pretty much snowballing their early lead finally.
Yeah.
Showing that they're not going to take the game to another 50, 60-minute fiasco and allow Sivir to just take control.
Yeah, exactly right. And that was a transformed Snake. We were talking about both of these teams moving in. Group A, a group that all needed to have a good hard look at themselves because of how things went in the cross-conference. I feel like Snake did that between games 2 and 3. And we're like, we've got to make more decisive plays. Martin, you got to step it up, hit your arrows. Like, I feel like the coach's speech has been answered by Snake entirely. And that looked like a team transforms. Tank should always play Azir if he can as well.
Yeah, that would be
He's
nice
earned
for him.
it. His Azir has improved tenfold from the start of the split.
And so that's pretty much the case right there. From game 1 and 2, you said it, right? Game 1 and 2, they kind of played their lanes well. There'd be times where they'd be winning, like for instance, Tank would be doing so incredibly well on that Vladimir. But then time and time again, Game Talents would get these dragon picks, right? Force them to kind of play it out slowly. Would always look to disengage. A very annoying style, quite honestly.
Yeah.
And so Snake this game was like, you know what? If we can't allow them to set the pace. They locked in the Alistair. They locked in the Ashe. Ashe was in game 2, but it didn't really work out for Martin. This game, a lot different.
Yeah, it looked actually fantastic on the side of Martin. So really answering the Sivir and not falling into that mind game trap of, you know, this is the same laning phase. Things should be the same, but no. He's ignored that, made sure he goes in fresh and wins it out. So we are going to have a look at today's results as EDG were able to close out a 2-0 victory against Newbie, but game number 1, remember, went to 66 minutes.
Yeah, that
and
game.
Newbie looked much better.
Game looked really long, and Newbie honestly should have been able to take that.
Yeah, they most certainly should, as then we had this 3-game slugfest between Snakes and Game Talents. As GT were able to come back in game number 2, but Snake too strong in the final one, really coming out decisive that stage. So the standings for Group A at the end of the night put Snake ahead, and Game Talents, of course, that was a big match due to the fact that they were so close on the standings.
Yeah.
It's a 2-point swing for Snake as they move to a solid second spot. And EDG, of course, still just way out ahead. It's just looking ridiculous.
And that's Snake finally kind of taking themselves away from Game Talents. Now Game Talents really has to look at the playoff picture,
Yeah,
see where they
true.
are.
Tomorrow, of course, we have IMA, LGD, OMG, WE, and then Vici versus RNG to round out our 3 best-of-3 series. So, of course, tune in, same time, same place, and it is going to be more LPL action for our 3rd game, of course, 3rd day. 4 days of LPL, and we've still got 6 more best-of-3s to go. So we ain't seen nothing yet, Raz.
Yeah, and if today said anything, that Group A has been pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
A lot of scrappy, a lot of unclean plays, but you know that's you got a lot of room to grow, and they knew that they weren't the best, right? All 3 of these teams, even EDG. Even EDG knew that they had something to grow coming out of cross-conference. So
yeah.
Snake noticeably made some incredible improvements in Game 3, was able to take that match decisively. And Game Talents, they're showing themselves to be relevant. Quite a team to fear.
Yeah, and look, maybe they tidy up their ability to utilize Baron. Of course, in game number 1, they had so much control. It was Baron into Elder Drake every single time. Pretty ridiculous. We're going to go back to that game number 3 and have a look at the MVP, as it is going to be SOFM navigating that jungle beautifully. 2-0 and 10. Of course, back-to-back Rek'Sai MVPs.
Yeah,
and that was a pick that SOFM actually forewent in game number 2.
Yeah, and his Rek'Sai is always incredible to watch.
Yeah.
He was able to pressure out really well, and in team fights too. His team fights were quite. If you look at him, he made one mistake, right, in the last team fight, I believe, where they were taking out that bot tower, and he kind of looked to pressure out Gangplank entirely. Good idea.
Yeah.
Kind of poor execution, but through and through, he was always able to get into these team fights and pretty much create as much pressure and damage, honestly, because he was, as per usual, he had the Titanic Hydra. He was able to pretty much duel anybody that really touched him. And so
I actually want to go back to that storyline as well for SOFM, just because his debut was very aggressive. He had this sort of telegraphed sort of jungle clear style where he was able to do it very efficiently. Then junglers caught onto him. He was a little bit of a liability for that stage while he was trying to become more flexible. In this series, SOFM honestly just played like a top-tier jungler. There was no time where it was being necessarily overly aggressive, no time where it was really getting caught out doing the wrong thing. SOFM has really sort of settled in as a top-tier jungler here in the LPL.
That's partly true. I think that's mainly true. He's actually been finding a lot more of a tempered play, but of course, game talents, if they see an opening, they usually don't take it. So I do want to see in the next sets against a lot of other teams if they can force his hands.
Well, we'll see whether it is going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the evening. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a massive day. We'll see you tomorrow night.